Within Russia, nationalist commentators have already started blaming Putin's conspicuously liberal immigration policies, which have always been controversial within Russia. While the emigrants were mostly ethnic minorities from other former Soviet states returning to their home countries.
Russia has long grappled with immigration challenges, a complex issue exacerbated by geopolitical shifts, economic fluctuations, and regional conflicts. However, recent developments suggest that Russia may have found an effective strategy to address and potentially resolve its immigration crisis.
It's not clear. Now, what proponents of the law are saying is that if they had these stronger measures to keep out what they believe could be hordes of migrants coming to the border, that they could reopen the border because then they would be allowed to push these people back, which of course is in violation of EU law.
This transformation is not just a matter of policy shifts, but reflects broader socio-political maneuvers, economic reforms, and international relations that together weave a narrative of strategic foresight and adaptive governance. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. For years, Russia's immigration system struggled under the weight of both legal and illegal migration.
¿En qué momento se empezó a dar cuenta de que había una población rusa bastante grande?
Voy a decir un año. Entonces, primero tuvimos familias que eran ucranianas y venían también por el mismo tema, huyendo de sus países, pero cambió. Vimos otra numeración de rusos.
Y aquí, ¿cuál llegó a ser el número máximo de rusos que se quedaron aquí?
Vamos a decir entre 600 a 700 rusos quienes estaban aquí, ya no se daba abasto.
The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 led to significant demographic changes, with many former Soviet states experiencing economic hardship.
After the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 90s, there were massive migrant flows both in and out of Russia. In 1991, for instance, an astonishing 4 million people immigrated into Russia, and a similar number emigrated,
Prompting a wave of migration to Russia. The allure of better job prospects, higher living standards, and relative political stability made Russia a prime destination for millions of migrants from Central Asia, the Caucasus, and other regions. However, this influx often overwhelmed Russia's capacity to integrate newcomers, leading to socioeconomic tensions, strained public services, and occasional xenophobic backlashes.
Бывшие страны постсоветского пространства весьма гибкие по отношению к политике Российской Федерации. И у администрации Путина на самом деле находятся весомые рычаги давления. Поэтому вопрос экстрадиции российских граждан, которые уехали в Грузию, в Армению, в Казахстан, будет зависеть от необходимости пополнения живой силы в зоне боевых действий на Украине. Только к маю месяцу 2023 года они ждут пополнения в 1,5 миллиона живой силы.
In recent years, Russia has adopted a multifaceted approach to tackle these challenges, focusing on three main areas: legislative reforms, economic incentives, and international cooperation. These efforts collectively mark a significant shift in how the country manages its immigrant population and strives for long-term stability and growth. Legislative reforms have been at the heart of Russia's strategy to manage immigration more effectively. The government has introduced new laws and amended existing ones to streamline the process of obtaining work permits, residence, and citizenship.
The number of Central Asian migrants coming into Russia has therefore remained relatively steady, and Putin has actually liberalized Russia's immigration laws in the past few years. In 2014, Russia created the Eurasian Economic Union, which allowed freedom of movement between Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Russia, which was then expanded to include Armenia and Kyrgyzstan a year later.
These changes aim to make the legal pathway more accessible and attractive to skilled workers, entrepreneurs, and professionals, thereby reducing the appeal of illegal immigration routes.
To Finland now, where the parliament is set to vote on a bill granting border guards the power to turn back asylum seekers coming from Russia. It is expected to pass as both the ruling right-wing coalition and many opposition lawmakers are backing it. The government has said that the bill is vital to stop future arrivals, despite the law being at odds with Finland's international human rights commitments.
For instance, the simplified procedure for acquiring Russian citizenship, especially for those with specific professional skills, has been a game changer.
only a year ago, the Kremlin said it anticipated net migration of about 400,000 people annually for the foreseeable future. So why has Putin pursued this relatively liberal immigration policy, even if it's been so politically controversial? Well, as we see it, there are two main reasons. The first is that it's a good way of keeping the former Soviet countries, especially those in Central Asia, within Russia's political orbit. The second is that migration is the only way to offset Russia's demographic decline. Like many developed countries, Russia has a fertility rate below the replacement rate of 2.1 at about 1.5, which means that its population is shrinking and aging.
This policy not only attracts talent, but also ensures that immigrants contribute positively to the economy. Economic incentives have also played a crucial role in Russia's approach to resolving its immigration crisis. Recognizing that economic integration is key to social stability, the Russian government has launched various programs to support immigrant entrepreneurs and small business owners. These initiatives provide financial assistance, training, and resources to help immigrants establish and grow their businesses, fostering economic independence and reducing the burden on public welfare systems. Additionally, targeted investments in regions with high immigrant populations have helped to create jobs and improve local infrastructure, facilitating smoother integration and reducing regional disparities. International cooperation is another pillar of Russia's immigration strategy. By working closely with neighboring countries and international organizations, Russia aims to address the root causes of migration and ensure more orderly and predictable movement of people. Bilateral agreements with Central Asian countries, for example, focus on regulating labor migration, protecting workers' rights, and facilitating their reintegration upon return. These agreements not only enhance the legal framework governing migration,
while the immigrants were mostly ethnic minorities from other former Soviet states returning to their home countries. While some, about 30% of these immigrants, were actually non-Russians coming from other parts of the former Soviet Union, mostly from Central Asia.
but also foster goodwill and mutual benefits between Russia and its neighbors. A noteworthy aspect of Russia's success in managing its immigration crisis is its focus on social integration and cultural cohesion. The government has implemented various programs to promote cultural exchange, language learning, and social inclusion among immigrants. Public campaigns and community initiatives aim to bridge cultural divides, reduce prejudices, and foster a sense of belonging among newcomers. By emphasizing the shared values and common heritage that bind diverse communities together, these efforts help to build a more cohesive and resilient society. One of the most significant impacts of these measures has been on Russia's demographic profile. Like many other developed countries, Russia faces an aging population and declining birth rates, which pose long-term economic and social challenges. By attracting young, skilled immigrants and encouraging their integration into the workforce, Russia can mitigate these demographic trends and sustain economic growth. This demographic renewal is crucial for maintaining a balanced labor market, supporting the pension system, and ensuring the vitality of local communities.
In the mid-2000s, however, the number of Central Asian migrants coming into the country significantly increased, with net migration rising from about 40,000 in 2003 to about 240,000 in 2007. This was largely because of the revival of the Russian economy.
The success of Russia's immigration policies is also evident in the changing public attitudes towards immigrants. While xenophobia and anti-immigrant sentiments were once prevalent, recent surveys indicate a gradual shift towards greater acceptance and appreciation of the contributions that immigrants make to society. This change is partly due to the visible benefits of well-managed immigration, such as economic growth, cultural diversity, and social dynamism. It also reflects the effectiveness of government initiatives in addressing public concerns and fostering a more inclusive national identity. Furthermore, Russia's proactive stance on immigration has positioned it as a leader in regional migration management. By sharing its experiences and best practices with other countries, Russia contributes to broader efforts to develop more humane, effective, and sustainable migration policies. This leadership role enhances Russia's international standing and strengthens its influence in global forums dealing with migration and development issues. However, it is important to acknowledge that challenges remain. The sheer scale and complexity of migration dynamics mean that no solution is perfect or permanent.
How many people you know personally, how many men and their wives, how many of them have fled the country because of this fear of being drafted?
По новостям, если только по новостям, то это тысячи людей. Здесь в Мексике тоже тысячи людей. Каждый день летели самолеты от 50 до 100 и выше человек. И по группам мы смотрим, сколько здесь людей. Да, мы в шоке.
Russia continues to face issues such as irregular migration, human trafficking, and integration difficulties for certain groups. Moreover, geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainties can create new pressures on the immigration system. Therefore, it is crucial for Russia to remain vigilant, adaptable, and responsive to emerging trends and challenges.
To apply for international protection, they have to have access to an asylum procedure, and that's the key element that is being removed by these measures. So in that respect, there is an obvious breach of EU law.
Russia's immigration strategy, while showing significant promise and early success, continues to evolve and adapt to new challenges. This comprehensive approach extends beyond the fundamental measures previously outlined, incorporating further social, economic, and diplomatic dimensions. As we delve deeper into the ongoing efforts and their broader implications, it becomes clear that Russia's journey to resolving its immigration crisis is a dynamic process.
Anyway, official data on the number of migrants currently living in Russia varies wildly. But the headline here is that today there are millions of migrants living in Russia, and Russia probably has one of the largest migrant populations in the world. This relatively liberal immigration policy has always been controversial inside of Russia, though,
requiring continuous innovation and commitment. One of the pivotal elements of Russia's immigration strategy is its robust emphasis on integration programs that go beyond basic language and cultural education. Recognizing the importance of social cohesion, the Russian government has invested in extensive social services designed to support immigrants in their new environments. These services include access to healthcare, education, housing, and legal assistance. By ensuring that immigrants have the necessary resources to lead healthy and productive lives, Russia aims to prevent the marginalization and social exclusion that can lead to unrest and instability. In addition to government initiatives, civil society organizations and local communities play a crucial role in the integration process. Various NGOs and community groups offer support networks and advocacy for immigrants, helping them navigate the complexities of life in a new country. These organizations often provide tailored services that address specific needs, such as job placement assistance, mental health support, and social activities that promote intercultural dialogue. By fostering a collaborative environment where both governmental and non-governmental entities work together, Russia enhances the effectiveness and reach of its integration efforts. Economic integration remains a cornerstone of Russia's approach to managing immigration. The government has introduced policies that encourage private sector involvement in supporting immigrant entrepreneurship and employment. By providing tax incentives, grants, and other financial support to businesses that hire immigrants or invest in immigrant-led enterprises, Russia creates a more inclusive and dynamic economy. This approach not only helps immigrants become economically self-sufficient, but also stimulates innovation and growth within the broader economy. Moreover, Russia has focused on developing sector-specific policies to address labor shortages and demographic challenges. For instance, the technology and healthcare sectors, which are crucial for Russia's future economic development, have been targeted for attracting skilled immigrants. By creating favorable conditions for professionals in these fields,
in 2017, in a rare show of public discontent, a communist MP complained that Russia is flooded with poorly qualified immigrant laborers who are stealing jobs from ordinary Russians. This sentiment is apparently shared by most of the Russian public, and Levada polling suggests that something like 70% of Russians want more restrictive immigration policy. Russian nationalists, including Alexei Navalny, have also attacked him on this issue. While he's today known as a Russian liberal, Navalny began his political career as a relatively hardline Russian nationalist.
Russia aims to fill critical gaps in its labor market while simultaneously benefiting from the expertise and experience that immigrants bring. Education is another vital aspect of Russia's immigration strategy. The government has implemented programs to ensure that immigrant children receive quality education and that their unique needs are met. This includes language support, academic counseling, and extracurricular activities that promote social integration. By investing in the education of immigrant children, Russia not only helps them succeed academically, but also fosters a sense of belonging and inclusion from a young age. At the higher education level, Russian universities have opened their doors to international students, offering scholarships and incentives to attract talent from around the world. These efforts are part of a broader strategy to position Russia as a global hub for education and research. By attracting international students, Russia enriches its academic community and creates a pipeline of skilled professionals who can contribute to the country's economic and social development.
But while Putin occasionally paid lip service to nationalist concerns, admitting in 2017 that Central Asian immigration was causing, quote, irritation among the local population, he refused to significantly restrict immigration and once declared that the popular nationalist slogan, Russia for Russians, was for, quote, fools and provocateurs.
In the realm of international relations, Russia has leveraged its immigration policies to strengthen diplomatic ties and enhance regional stability. By collaborating with neighboring countries on migration management, Russia promotes a cooperative approach to addressing common challenges. These partnerships often involve joint initiatives on border security, information sharing, and the protection of migrants' rights. Through such collaborations, Russia not only improves its own immigration system but also contributes to the development of a more stable and predictable regional migration landscape. Russia's approach to immigration also includes a focus on human rights and the protection of vulnerable groups. The government has established mechanisms to combat human trafficking and exploitation, ensuring that migrants are treated with dignity and respect. Legal frameworks have been strengthened to protect the rights of migrant workers, and enforcement measures have been enhanced to prevent abuses.
The obvious thing to do would be to just announce tighter migration controls, but the Russian economy can't afford a structural reduction in migration numbers. This is essentially because the government is spending loads of money to fund their war in Ukraine, but this cash injection into the Russian economy has pushed up inflation, which has been running at about 7% for the last few months. Given that unemployment is already running at a record low, reducing migration would probably result in labor shortages, which would mean higher wages and therefore probably even higher levels of inflation.
These efforts reflect Russia's commitment to upholding international standards and creating a more humane and just immigration system. Cultural diplomacy plays an essential role in Russia's strategy to foster positive perceptions of immigrants and promote cultural exchange. The government has supported various cultural initiatives that highlight the contributions of immigrants to Russian society, such as festivals, exhibitions, and media campaigns. By celebrating the diversity and richness of immigrant cultures, these initiatives help to break down stereotypes and build a more inclusive national identity. A significant aspect of Russia's immigration strategy is its focus on long-term sustainability. Recognizing that demographic and economic trends are constantly evolving, the government has adopted a forward-looking approach that anticipates future challenges and opportunities.
This figure disguises the magnitude of Russia's demographic crisis for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this data is from 2020, so it doesn't account for the effect of the war in Ukraine. But secondly, Russia suffered a crippling demographic shock in the aftermath of the collapse of the Soviet Union. That's because the fertility rate dropped from 2.1 to 1.4. And the male mortality rate basically doubled, with life expectancy also falling by about 5 years.
This includes ongoing research and analysis to understand migration patterns, labor market needs, and social dynamics. By continuously adapting its policies based on evidence and best practices, Russia ensures that its immigration system remains resilient and responsive to changing circumstances. The impact of Russia's immigration policies extends beyond its borders, influencing global discussions on migration and development. As a major player on the international stage,
but rates are already at 16%, and further hikes would almost definitely induce a recession. In short, it looks like Putin is stuck in a trilemma. He can't fund the war in Ukraine without either dangerously high levels of inflation or an interest rate-induced recession, leaving him with little political space to alleviate public upset about his migration policy. Now, understanding what exactly is going to happen here is a little tricky, requiring you to evaluate a lot of different information from often partial sources.
Russia's experiences and innovations in managing immigration provide valuable insights for other countries facing similar challenges. By sharing its successes and lessons learned, Russia contributes to the global dialogue on how to create more effective and humane migration systems. However, the road to resolving the immigration crisis is not without obstacles. Russia must navigate complex political landscapes, economic uncertainties, and social dynamics to maintain progress. Geopolitical tensions, such as those with the West, can impact migration flows and complicate diplomatic efforts. Economic fluctuations driven by factors like oil prices and global trade.
However, in the 2000s, the Russian economy enjoyed some pretty rapid growth, with GDP at an average rate of about 7%, largely thanks to exponential rises in oil prices.
Can affect job markets and public sentiment towards immigrants. Social dynamics, including issues of identity and cultural integration, require ongoing attention and sensitivity. Despite these challenges, Russia's commitment to addressing its immigration crisis remains steadfast.
Only a year ago, the Kremlin said it anticipated net migration of about 400,000 people annually for the foreseeable future. So why has Putin pursued this relatively liberal immigration policy, even if it's been so politically controversial? Well, as we see it, there are two main reasons. The first is that it's a good way of keeping the former Soviet countries, especially those in Central Asia, within Russia's political orbit. The second is that migration is the only way to offset Russia's demographic decline. Like many developed countries, Russia has a fertility rate below the replacement rate of 2.1 at about 1.5, which means its population is shrinking and aging.
The government continues to invest in policies and programs that support immigrants and foster social cohesion. By maintaining a comprehensive and adaptive approach, Russia aims to create a sustainable and inclusive immigration system that benefits both newcomers and the broader society. As Russia continues to navigate the complexities of its immigration policies, a critical component of its success lies in the country's ability to balance the economic benefits of immigration with the social and cultural challenges that inevitably arise. This balancing act requires ongoing efforts to foster inclusivity and integration, ensuring that immigrants become active and valued members of society. One of the most significant aspects of Russia's approach to managing immigration is the creation of local integration programs tailored to the unique needs of various immigrant communities. These programs are often developed in collaboration with local governments, community organizations, and immigrant groups themselves. By engaging directly with immigrants and understanding their specific needs and challenges, these programs can provide targeted support that facilitates smoother integration. Examples include language courses, vocational training, and cultural orientation sessions, which help immigrants adapt to their new environment and become self-sufficient.
Бывшие страны постсоветского пространства весьма гибкие по отношению к политике Российской Федерации. У администрации Путина на самом деле находятся весомые рычаги давления. Поэтому вопрос экстрадиции российских граждан, которые уехали в Грузию, в Армению, в Казахстан, будет зависеть от необходимости пополнения живой силы в зоне боевых действий на Украине. Только к маю месяцу 2023 года они ждут пополнения в 1,5 миллиона живой силы.
Another crucial element in Russia's immigration strategy is the emphasis on housing and urban planning. The influx of immigrants can put pressure on housing markets, leading to overcrowding and the development of informal settlements. To address this, the Russian government has implemented housing policies that aim to provide affordable and adequate living conditions for immigrants. This includes the construction of new housing units, renovation of existing buildings, and provision of subsidies or financial assistance to low-income immigrant families. By ensuring that immigrants have access to decent housing, Russia not only improves their quality of life, but also promotes social stability and cohesion. Employment is another area where Russia has made significant strides in integrating immigrants. The government has introduced policies that facilitate the recognition of foreign qualifications and skills, enabling immigrants to find jobs that match their expertise and experience. Additionally, labor market integration programs provide job placement services, career counseling, and support for starting small businesses. These efforts help immigrants achieve economic independence and contribute to the overall economy. Moreover, by integrating immigrants into the labor market, Russia addresses labor shortages and boosts productivity in various sectors. The health and well-being of immigrants are also a priority in Russia's immigration policies. Access to healthcare services is crucial for the successful integration of immigrants, as it ensures that they can maintain their health and well-being while adapting to their new environment.
The number of Central Asian migrants coming into Russia has therefore remained relatively steady, and Putin has actually liberalized Russia's immigration laws in the past few years. In 2014, Russia created the Eurasian Economic Union, which allowed freedom of movement between Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Russia, which was then expanded to include Armenia and Kyrgyzstan a year later. Then, in April 2020, Putin signed a law allowing dual Russian citizenship for foreigners, which basically means that you don't have to renounce your previous citizenship before applying to citizenship in Russia. This policy has been particularly popular with migrants from Tajikistan, which is the poorest country in Central Asia.
The Russian government has expanded healthcare access for immigrants, providing coverage for essential medical services and preventive care. Additionally, specialized health programs address the unique needs of immigrant populations, such as mental health support and services for victims of trafficking and exploitation. By promoting the health and well-being of immigrants, Russia fosters a healthier and more resilient society. Education plays a fundamental role in the integration of immigrant children and youth. Russia has made significant investments in its education system to accommodate the needs of immigrant students, ensuring that they receive the same quality of education as their native peers. This includes language support programs, intercultural education initiatives, and efforts to combat discrimination and bullying in schools. By providing immigrant children with a supportive and inclusive educational environment, Russia helps them succeed academically and socially, laying the foundation for their future contributions to society. Russia's commitment to cultural diversity and inclusion is evident in its support for cultural initiatives that celebrate the contributions of immigrants to Russian society. Festivals, art exhibitions, and cultural exchanges highlight the richness and diversity of immigrant cultures, promoting mutual understanding and respect. These initiatives help to break down stereotypes and prejudices, fostering a more inclusive and harmonious society. By celebrating cultural diversity, Russia not only enriches its own cultural landscape, but also strengthens social cohesion and national unity.
In the mid-2000s, however, the number of Central Asian migrants coming into the country significantly increased, with net migration rising from about 40,000 in 2003 to about 240,000 in 2007. This was largely because of the revival of the Russian economy.
Furthermore, Russia has recognized the importance of addressing the root causes of migration, such as poverty, conflict, and environmental degradation. By engaging in international development efforts and supporting economic and social development in migrant-sending countries, Russia aims to reduce the need for people to migrate in the first place. This proactive approach involves providing financial aid, technical assistance, and capacity-building support to countries in need. By addressing the underlying factors that drive migration, Russia contributes to global stability and development. The integration of immigrants into Russian society also benefits from the active participation of civil society and local communities. Non-governmental organizations, faith-based groups, and community associations play a vital role in supporting immigrants and advocating for their rights. These organizations often provide essential services, such as legal assistance, language classes, and social support, complementing government efforts and filling gaps in service provision. By fostering a collaborative environment where civil society and local communities work together, Russia enhances the effectiveness of its integration policies and promotes social solidarity. Russia's experience in managing immigration offers valuable insights for other countries facing similar challenges. One key lesson is the importance of adopting a comprehensive and multidimensional approach that addresses the various aspects of immigration, from legal and economic integration to social and cultural inclusion. By considering the diverse needs and experiences of immigrants, Countries can develop policies that promote successful integration and maximize the benefits of immigration for both newcomers and host communities. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what do you think will be the long-term effects of Russia's immigration policy? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.